Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online character build video with me, Sherman. Today guys, we're going to be taking a look at the new Witchblade. I know I said new, it is a new build for me. It's something different, it's something unique, and this is also another kind of hybridized roleplay build, and I hope you guys really like it, but let's get into it. So we are a Dark Elf Necromancer, as you can see. It is called the Witchblade character. And we have 22k magicka, 23k health, 30k stamina, and 1019 mag recovery with a 585 stamina recovery. Our spell damage is coming in at 2304. Our weapon damage is coming in at 2678 with a 46% spell critical and a 43% weapon critical on the front bar. We do have 13,000 spell resist with 11,000 physical resist. And scrolling on down, we are using all primary stat food, so tri-stat food. It works best for the way this is set up. We also have the Lever Mundus Stone to increase our spell and physical penetration for this setup. Now remember, I will be showing you how you can play this as a tank, a healer, and a damage dealer, both magicka and stamina if you so choose. It is more powerful as a magicka build because it is a light armor build. Alright, going over the sets that this build is wearing, we are running the Maw of the Infernals. This is a really good set. A lot of people don't use it that often, but it does 1,206 maximum health to you on the one piece. The two piece, when you deal damage with a light or heavy attack, you have a 10% chance to summon a fire-breathing Daedrith for 15 seconds. The Daedrith's basic attack deals 5,491 flame damage. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. So you will summon this thing out every 15 seconds, pretty much, if you're really good with your rotation. Alright, we are running the head and shoulders on this, both divines. Now moving on to the body, we are running Night Mother's Gaze. This gives you weapon critical on the 2-piece, 3 pieces weapon damage, 4 pieces weapon critical, and then the 5-piece. When you deal critical damage, you apply major fracture to the enemy, reducing their physical resistance by 5,280 for 6 seconds. Now we are wearing this on a heavy chest, medium legs. This is going to give us the higher resistance value with our character because chest and legs in heavy and medium are the best values you can get out of those in resistances. On the smaller pieces, we are, like I said, we're running all divines, everything. And on the smaller pieces, the way we have the enchant setup is we have 3 tri-stats. This is going to give us that well-balanced ability to play more of a hybridized character that we can focus into stamina or we can focus into magicka. And with this, we have our magicka on the belt, magicka on the shoulders, and then stamina on the gloves and the boots. This gives us that wider range of resources. And then moving on to the jewelry and the other set we're running, we are running the Treasure Hunters. Now a lot of people are going to say, why are you running Treasure Hunters? Because it gives you major prophecy. That's why, at all times. So this gives you magicka, spell crit, spell damage, and only 100, and then the major prophecy at all times, increasing your spell critical rating by 2191. So even when you're playing a magicka DPS character, you can utilize it, and when you're playing a stamina character, you can utilize that magicka crit capability. And as you can see, we have 2 trirunes, just like the other ones. This is going to maximize our health, stamina, and magicka, help us be more well spread out for our attributes, so whatever role we want to play, whether it be stamina DPS, magicka DPS, tank, healer, we have all that stuff there for that. And then we also have an infused necklace with a magic recovery. This is how we can keep our mag recovery really good. Moving on to the weapons. We are using, for this setup right now, we are using dual wield Night Mother's Sword, Nerdhoned, with a flame damage enchant. And on the offhand, we're using an absorbed stamina enchant with an infused weapon. This is going to give us that resource management better for our stamina side. It's not super effective because we only go to about an 800 and something stam recovery with the way this is set up right now. On the back bar, we are using a lightning staff of the Night Mother. This is going to give us higher spell. This is going to give us that capability to use a spell staff on the back bar, but we're also using it for the weapon and weapon damage and spell damage enchant that increased both our weapon and spell damage by 452 on an infused lightning staff. The other equipment that we carry in our inventory is we do carry spellcaster pots for when we are using, or spell power pots for when we're using magicka only. We use stamina pots when we're doing stamina damage, and then we use tripods for when we're tanking, or even if we're healing. Now, we also carry with us an ice staff that is used for tanking with a Crusher enchant. We also have an Inferno staff with a disease enchant, Nirnhoned. And then we have a restoration staff with a absorb magicka enchant. And then we have a sword and shield. The shield is a sturdy shield with a tri-stat glyph in it. And that sturdy does help us out a lot. And then we use a sword with an infused enchant weakening. So when we run a tank, we can run sword and shield with an ice staff and actually take really good advantage of that tool setup. Alright, moving on to the skills information of this build. I'm going to move away from that because I know somebody's down there parsing and that's cool. But we're going to go over here and that way I can talk about skills. So make sure you unlock all your class passives, unlock the skills that you would like to use on your build and how you would like to use them. On your weapon skills, this one we do not use two-handed at all. We use one-handed sword and shield, dual wield, destruction staff, and restoration staff. Now the restoration staff I did not unlock any skills with yet because the Necromancer has such a unique ability, but I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick right in front of you guys so you guys can see. I'm just going to pick skills kind of at random. I know how the skills work really well, so I can actually take really good advantage of how they work based on my choices. So, and then also moving on to the armor, we are a light armor build, so we have all light armor passives unlocked. So we do get the Grace, which reduces the effectiveness of snares applied to us by 4% for each piece of light armor worn. You can see 20%. Reduce the cost of sprint by 3%, so we get a 15% sprint cost reduction. This allows us to save stamina. Moving on to evocation, increase your magic recovery by 4% for each piece of light armor equipped. We have a 20% magic recovery for that. And then reduce the cost of your magic abilities by 2% for each piece of light armor equipped. We have 10% there as well. Moving on to spell warding, we have increased spell resistance by 3,603 for each piece of light armor equipped. We have an 1815 resistance, extra spell resist. And then we have Prodigy, which when 5 or more pieces of light armor equipped, you increase your spell critical rating by 2,191. And then we have Concentration, with 5 or more pieces of light armor equipped, increase your spell penetration by 4,884. The nice thing about this setup is you can take advantage of these two even when you're doing stamina DPS, because you can use that lightning staff on the back bar, and I'll show you guys how in a second. Medium armor, you just want the top two and the bottom one. This is going to increase your weapon critical by 328 for each piece of medium armor worn. This is going to increase your stamina recovery by 4% and reduce your stamina cost of your abilities by 2%. And then we have athletics, increase your movement speed bonus of sprint by 3% for each piece of medium armor worn. You can see we get a 3%, and then we get the reduced dodge roll cost by 4%. On heavy armor, we want the top three. This is going to give you increased physical and spell resistance by 362. This is going to increase your health recovery by 4%, and it's also going to give you 108 magicka and stamina back every 4 seconds when you take damage. And then we have the Juggernaut, which increases your max health by 2%. This 2% does stack with the Undaunted 6%, so you actually get an 8% max health. Alright. Moving on to the world skills, Soul Magic. Soul Summons allows you to revive once every hour without spending a soul gem. Then we have Soul Lock. Killing an enemy with a soul ability has a 10% chance to automatically fill an empty soul gem. Sorry. On the guild skills, I do unlock all the Fighters Guild because I can take advantage of them regardless. Mages Guild, same thing, because I can take advantage of them. Psijic Order, so you can see, same thing. And then my Undaunted, I also unlock as many of these as I like. I do like Trapping Webs, and they both have some really interesting factors to them. I really like this one for like slowing enemies and stuff, and I like the other one for doing the same, but this one is just, in my opinion, better for slowing. And we'll just go ahead and equip that. Moving on to Alliance skills. Make sure you unlock the Alliance skills you can take advantage of. Same thing with support. And then moving on to your racials, Dark Elf. Dark Elf, because they have this dynamic, increase the magicka and stamina by 1875. Flame resistance, increased your flame resistance by 2310. Gain immunity to burning status effects. And then ruination, increase your weapon and spell damage by 258. This is why I like to play Dark Elves the way that they're set up, is they are very versatile at being hybrid type characters. Any race can play this build though. It's just that you're not going to have the benefits like the Dark Elf does, but that's fine. You can still take advantage of how it works even as any race. Moving on to crafting, alchemy, medicinal use. This is really important. This one, when using potions, resulting effects last 30% longer. So it allows you to use your potions more effectively. And then provisioning, gourmand, and connoisseur, these just make the duration of your food last 20 minutes longer. So also very good. And with the way this build plays, we use Tristat most of the time. The only time that you switch out from Tristat is when you play a healer, and that's when you put on Witchmother's Potent Brew. All the other times you're going to be using mostly Tristat pots. Alright, and that's that. Now let's just jump into the CP. I'm going to show you how it's set up for right now, but I'll also be showing you the CP setup for each role. Tank, healer, damage dealer. So we have 56 in the Ironclad, 20 into Spell Shield to give us a little bit of extra resistances, 31 Thick Skin, 18 in Light Armor Focus, 43 into Hardy, 43 into Elemental Defender, 40 into Bastion, 19 into Quick Recovery, 40 into Warlord, 16 into Sprinter, 16 into Bashing Focus, and then moving on over here we have 43 into Mooncalf, 43 into Arcanist, 43 in Tenacity. This just gives us a well-rounded recovery rate there. 40 into Tumbling, and 29 into Shadow Ward. Now, I know that we have points, we're sitting between jump points, but really there's no place to put those extra points, so I just throw them in here. Moving on, we have 43 into Bless, this increases healing done by 10%. We have 23 into Elfborn, increasing critical damage and critical healing by 10%. 43 into Elemental Expert, increasing Flame Frost, Shock, and magic damage by 10%. And then moving on over here, we have 16 into Physical Weapon Expert, 16 into Staff Expert, 40 into Master at Arms, 43 into Mighty, 23 into Precise Strikes, and 23 into Thaumaturge. Now, with this particular setup, this is the Stamina Damage Dealer setup, so that's why I do have the Lover Mundus Stone equipped, is that way I can get that greater spell and physical pin with it, with the way I'm using it. Now, I am going to just show you guys a quick rundown of this, and it's not going to look like it does a lot of damage with the way it's set up, because of we're using both magic and stamina. As you can see, our magic is a little low on the lower side than normal. We have 23k with a 30k stamina. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our potion. We're going to summon our Skelly, Trap Beast, Light Attack. And as you can see, we did 20k roughly DPS like this. Now this is without a group, okay? So let me go ahead and show you guys real quick. So without a group, we had 3,700 weapon damage with a 43% weapon critical, 70% critical damage, 10k penetration, and then on the back bar, excuse me, that's where I want it. On the spell, we had 25,000 max magicka, 33,000 spell damage, or 3,300 spell damage, 52% spell critical, 70% critical damage, 10,000 also spell penetration, because of the way we have this set up. And as you can see, this thing does do a decent amount of damage when you look at this layout. I know it doesn't look like much, but it does improve. So I'm going to go over here to the targets, the group one, so you guys can see what this thing would be like in a group. I can almost push 30k if I'm really good. So Skeleton, Trap Beast, and like I said, if I push really hard, I can almost get the 30k. I'm up to 26,000. and that is that's as high as that's not as high as I can get it, but I can get it a little higher if I really need to. I just wanted to show you guys how this thing can work, even as a damage dealer using both lightning staff and dual wield, so you guys can see for yourselves. Now, it doesn't do insane damage, and I'm sorry that it doesn't work out like I intended, or like a lot of people intend, but it does do the job, and it's necessary to get the content done, and it's a very fun build. I can't wait to share the rest of it with you guys in the other videos for the tank healer and damage dealer. So until then, you guys know what's coming next. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and this guy might see you in game. Bye.